The story begins in the village of Lag, where the village soldiers are desperately trying to defend their home from ash monkeys or macaques. One of the younger soldiers, Kai, faces a giant macaque alone and begs his senior Manso for assistance. But just as Manso arrives, the macaque takes him out first and then surrounds Kai completely with the other macaques. That's when a swordsman named Alha, the eldest son of Moloch Vezin, who possesses the power of the land deity, arrives and prepares to take out the macaques for daring to invade the land of humans, activating a divine crest on his face, proving that he's a guardian bearer chosen by a land god. Alha charges at the macaques and swiftly takes each one down, leaving the kid Kai in pure astonishment at his incredible ability. With the rest of the macaques fleeing from this losing battle, the humans win, or as Manso puts it, they survive yet another day. The villagers are finally relieved. In the meantime, some of the soldiers begin extracting a fruity core, or what they refer to as a god stone, from the insides of the dead macaques. Alha is the first to drink the contents of one of these god stones, and after him, the others also pray to their gods and drink the liquid inside, resulting in an increase in their total spiritual energy. Apparently, eating the pith of a god stone makes one stronger and increases their spiritual energy, as we just saw. So, Kai wants another one, hoping to become stronger. But Manso doesn't allow it, as they're a bunch of nobodies who don't deserve such privilege, and instead sends the rest of the god stones to the castle, since the majority are meant for guardian bearers like Lord Alha. According to Master Bosco, making the strong even stronger is how stability is maintained, and he tells Kai that he must accept it as well because that is the way of this world. Kai, as a teenager, has already accepted the fact that ordinary soldiers like him must become stronger without relying on any cheat codes, so he doesn't bother making any more requests to his elders. Later that night, a celebratory feast is held at the chief's place, where Chief Moloch Vezin Alha's father thanks everyone for once again protecting their land from yet another demi-human attack. He starts a very long speech about how grateful he is to everyone, almost irritating Manso, who quietly mutters to himself to just let them eat already. Eventually, they do finally get to eat, and I can't help but notice the disparity in how much food each person gets. Apparently, those who contributed more in the battle received more food, while those with no contribution got little to none. I say that's fair in a primitive world, although Kai disagrees and wants to eat more, and he knows he'll only get to do so if he trains, becomes stronger, and earns more contribution points. With that goal in mind, he starts training later that night, but he's so weak that he can barely even swing the stick before collapsing. He claims he's only this weak because he's super hungry and shouts out loud that he wants to eat a rice ball badly. That's when Manso appears before him, asking what even is a rice ball. Kai wonders the same and goes with the explanation that the word just randomly popped into his head. He doesn't know what it is, but he feels like it tastes really good, though he's not even sure if it's actually food or not. Whatever he's saying makes no sense to Manso or to himself, so he decides not to think about it anymore and redirects Manso's attention to the graveyard up ahead. The clean, well-maintained side belongs to those who had families, while the graves at the far back are for people who had no one, just like Kai. He states that people like him, they won't ever be remembered. No one will ever cry for them, but he doesn't want that to happen. He wants his existence to be remembered. That's why he's decided to become strong, so that he can survive. But something in his mind keeps whispering that he'll need a miraculous ability to truly become strong. And as he shares this thought with Manso, the guy starts to suspect that this kid might have hit his head during the monkey fight earlier. Meanwhile, at the castle, Alha and his sister Jose are having an argument. Jose wants to learn how to fight just enough to protect herself, but Alha isn't having it. He refuses, saying that no woman in their family has ever learned to fight. He's the type of guy who believes women are only born with the purpose of staying inside the kitchen, and Jose knows she can't change his primitive mindset, so she doesn't bother pushing the point any further. Back in the village, Kai is now playfully training with Manso, but when Manso lands a solid hit, something strange happens. As Kai begins to fall to the ground, he suddenly finds himself drowning underwater. Then a burst of flames surges through him and his surroundings shift into modern-day Japan. As he opens his eyes, he's completely thrown off by what he's seeing and wonders if he's just been teleported to an isekai world. He keeps falling, flailing, trying to grab onto the air itself when suddenly he feels something surreal wrap around his hands. That's when he wakes up from the strange dream, saying that what he felt was magic. However, he doesn't actually know what the word magic even means. Manso looks concerned, but Kai brushes it off. Claiming he's totally fine deep down though, he wonders why he keeps experiencing memories he has no recollection of. Apparently, things like this have been happening to him for a while now, and in one of those strange memories he saw a bunch of rice balls for the first time. For now, he tells himself these are just figments of his imagination. But realistically, he hopes that this magic he felt might be the miraculous ability he needs to become stronger. Back at the castle, a messenger eagle arrives with the message for Moloch Vezin that a horde of orgs has appeared to the west near Banya village. Alha's father is worried that the soldiers are getting no rest considering that they now have to go against the orgs after just finishing with a battle. Although, the cold-hearted Alha believes that they are only doing their duties and should defend the land without question, his father finds this response troublesome. Meanwhile, in the soldiers' camp, Kai continues to think about the fire magic. While he stays awake, thinking about it, Manso asks what he is thinking about. In response, Manso wonders why he is not sleeping. He tells Kai the story of a monk who lived life in a dark place without fire. To get fire, the monk had to produce fire from his finger, which he used as light. Hearing this story, Kai is so thrilled the mere thought of it leaves him speechless. The next morning, Kai rushes off to a secret place to try out the finger flame technique he heard about the light before. He believes he would be able to achieve this once he channels the spiritual energy within him. For him, gathering enough spiritual energy would ignite the flame. Unfortunately, his attempts are futile and he tries over and over again, getting no positive results. Since this didn't work, he channels his thoughts into figuring out how to get enough spiritual energy. He senses a flow of spiritual energy in his chest and tries to shoot the flame from there, but this still doesn't work. Elsewhere, the orgs are whooping the weak lives of the soldiers and using their bodies as footpaths. In the soldier camp, the soldiers figure out that the orgs are watching them from the woods. Due to this, they send some of their soldiers to stand guard in the woods. Soon after, they sense the arrival of the orgs and inform the others as they take their defense formation. After that, they attack the orgs who charge at them in return. Kai leads the attack and immediately stabs an orc in the heart. Just then, a lifeless body is thrown at him, and it leaves him stuck at a spot and unable to defend himself against the large org that is now advancing towards him. The org is about to unite him with the odds of the underworld when multiple arrows come flying to take it out. Fortunately for him, Manso arrived just in time with some other soldiers to save his sorry life. The impact of the lifeless body causes him to hurt his leg. Due to this setback, Manso helps him up. They turn around to see some orgs lurking behind them, and Kai asks Manso to leave him and save himself. Thinking of this as a joke, Manso goes on to assist him as the two try to get to safety. To help their escape plan, the other soldiers decide to scatter themselves. Even with this, one huge org continues to follow them, and Manso figures that the org is intentionally following them slowly to enjoy isekai them. Being not as honorable as we thought, Manso has no choice but to leave him behind and save himself. A move which Kai totally understands. Alone, he uses his spear to help himself away from the sharp butcher knife of the org. With stern determination, he continues to assure himself that he would not die today. After a while, he figures out that running away will not work, so he turns around to face the org head-on. At first, the org hides in the woods, but Kai orders him to come out of hiding. Initially, the org doesn't respond, and just when Kai turns around to leave, the org throws a knife at him and it cuts his shoulder. After that, it rushes out of the woods and grabs him by the neck. Even while being held tightly, Kai continues to be determined that he would not die today. He tries to channel his spiritual energy in order to blast some fire flames from his finger, but even though a spark is seen, it still doesn't work. The string will to survive eventually allows him to channel his spiritual energy and blast the ugliness out of the org's face. This leads it to pass out, and Kai is excited that he now possesses fire magic. Meanwhile, Alha takes on some orgs on his own, and barehanded, he literally single-handedly smashes the head of an org into the ground. Seeing how strong he is, the other orgs retreat for their safety. The other soldiers with Alha try to run after him, but Alha swiftly gets ahead of them and chases after the orgs. One of the soldiers makes an attempt to go after them, but is stopped by another who understands just how personal this is for Alha. Back at the battlefield with Kai, just while he turns around to leave, he sees that his hand is still burning and freaks out immediately. All the ways he employed to turn it off didn't work, and he soon fell to the ground from magic exhaustion. The fact that the fire is still burning is draining his energy, and he tries all he can to come up with a way to stop the flame. While doing so, the orb regains consciousness and slowly approaches him. Just then, he figures out a way to close the stream of spiritual energy flowing within him. Only after he does this does the flame stop burning. However, it's already too late as the orb grabs onto him in his weak state and slowly carries him towards the edge of the cliff. Realizing that he would now be joining his ancestors, he makes sure not to go down alone. Just before the orb throws him down the cliff, he pulls out his sword and slices the orb in the chest, giving him a special invite to join him on the journey to the underworld. After a long fall, the two fall into a river. And with that, we have come to the end of this part. Stay tuned for next part. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to receive all the latest updates.